You thought I wasn't gonna review this movie, didn't you? I don't blame you. Alright, first of all, you want to know my thoughts on Get Out? I saw the movie once and it was like weeks after it came out, so that's why I don't have a video on it. But I will say it is probably one of the best movies of its kind. The thing about that movie for me is that there were some scenes that genuinely made me uncomfortable in my seat, which I'm sure is what the movie was going for, so that is a compliment to the movie. I'm just saying it's not my kind of thing. It's not my kind of entertainment. I've never had the urge to watch Get Out again. But it did absolutely deserve the Oscar it got for Best Original Screenplay. Ain't no doubt about that. So now, how is Peele's follow-up? Us. And if I sound kind of sick, it's because I am. What can I say? It's allergy season. It's that time of the year. So Us is the second movie from writer and director Jordan Peele of Key and Peele, the comedy duo. Comedy duo? I never thought they were funny. You remember a couple years ago, Jordan Peele came out with Get Out, and it surprised the shit out of everyone. I know a couple of people who have said that Get Out has become one of their favorite movies of all time. So I was like, oh, holy shit, Jordan Peele's not messing around. He wants to tell some serious social thriller stories. I think that's really cool. Good for him. So in the movie Us, there's this family. It's a nice family. They have a beach house in Santa Cruz. It's not too far from where I live. So they're on vacation in this beach house, life is good, until one day they are visited by doppelganger versions of themselves. Would that freak you out? That'd freak me out. And from there, the story escalates. We got a horror thriller. Jordan Peele calls this a social thriller. Cause like Get Out, there are deeper implications that this movie has, which I love. I feel like Jordan Peele is the Christopher Nolan of horror movies. In the sense that, yeah, on the surface, it seems like this is the story, but there are deeper things that the trailer doesn't tell you about. And I think that's great. Winston Duke M'Baku from Black Panther, he plays the father. And like in most movies like this, the father is the one who's got to be brave for the family. He's like, relax kids, I got this. We've seen from Black Panther that he can be funny. And he is funny in the movie, but the humor never overrides the drama or the horror elements. The mother, Adelaide, is played by Lupita Nyong'o, who's really the main character in this film. It mostly revolves around her. She's the one who's affected by this phenomenon the most. Oh, and needless to say, these actors also play the doppelganger versions of these characters, including the kids. One thing I really dug about this movie is that the buildup was slow, but it was a really good, it took its time to tell the story. It wasn't until about half an hour into the movie where the real horror shit started happening. The first half hour, maybe even 40 minutes of the movie, you're just meeting the characters, learning about them, establishing the situation. So when these doppelgangers arrive, you feel scared for this family that you've grown to connect with. That's how you tell a good story right there. This movie also uses symbolism really well. I'm not gonna say what the symbols are, but you'll see things and you're like, wait, that was in another scene. That means something. It means this. You'll see certain recurring things throughout the movie, and I just love movies that do that. For me anyway, it gives a movie like this rewatch value, because I want to go back and watch this movie again, knowing all the symbols and all the secrets in the movie, and so I can get more of a sense of what's really going on, the complete story here, and the complete message that Jordan Peele's trying to convey. And yes, this movie was pretty frightening. The thing about me in horror movies is that I haven't seen too many of them. The ones I've seen are generally really good, like It or A Quiet Place, where I'm not really scared. The movie doesn't really make me feel scared for myself. It makes me scared for the characters while also making me go, ooh, that's really cool. That thing that's supposed to be the scary thing to the characters, that's cool to me. Like Pennywise, I'm like, that is cool. But movies like The Conjuring, yes, I have seen The Conjuring. I watched it for the first time a couple months ago, and I don't want to watch it again because I nearly shit my pants. Because after watching that movie, I felt like I was gonna die in the night. Us lands into that first category of horror movies I was talking about, like It, where I didn't feel like I was in danger, which is what I felt after watching The Conjuring, but I was scared for the characters. Because the movie is actually telling a story about characters and a message, whereas The Conjuring I felt like was just about being scary, and that was it. Anyhow, that concludes my rant about that. I will say, no scenes in this movie made me feel as uncomfortable as Get Out did. So in that sense, maybe I like this movie a little more than Get Out, just because it's more my style of movie that I like to watch. And believe me when I say that this is not a spoiler when I say that there were things in this movie that reminded me of Coraline, which is actually one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm not going to say how, of course, but you'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen both movies. Although I will say the score is one of those similarities. The score kind of sounded like Coraline at times. The score in this movie is awesome. It was done by Michael Abels, who also did the music for Get Out, and I feel like he's going to be doing the rest of Jordan Peele's movies. And yeah, the opening credits sequence, the music in that, I loved it. I praise Coraline for having one of my favorite scores of all time because it's so unique, but I don't know if I can say it's unique anymore because this score sounds like Coraline's score. In a good way though, it's not completely ripping it off. And then there's the end of the movie, and I don't know how much I want to say. I mean, the movie has been out for almost a week now, so this might be a minor spoiler, so you've been warned, I guess. I'm not going to say what happens in the end, but I am going to say how I reacted to the end, which is, that doesn't make any sense. The ending of this movie left me with a lot of questions, which I'm sure again is what Jordan Peele was going for. He wanted people to leave the movie thinking about it and talking about it afterwards. Which is great, and I was definitely doing that, but in some ways it didn't really make sense with what the story set up. I just didn't buy a couple of things. And it did bring the movie down by just a little bit, but it didn't ruin, the hour and a half leading up to the end. I just gotta address that I did not think this movie was 100% perfect. But in the end, I really, really, really liked this movie, Us. I thought it was great. The acting was great, especially from, well, everyone. The movie was tension-filled, the story was really intriguing, the deeper implications will have you thinking about it, and the score was awesome. Just that ending had me going, what? But for Us, I will say, go see this movie while it's in theaters. I read that Jordan Peele has like 4 more ideas for movies he wants to do in the next decade, and now I personally can't wait to see them. So Us, have you seen it? I imagine you have by now. What did you think about it, and what do you like more, Us or Get Out? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.